guys, this is a little channel and I guess life update. As you probably noticed in the thumbnail, big things are happening and none of what I used in the thumbnail or the title is a clickbait. All of this is actually afoot. It is scary, it is a bit chaotic at this very moment, but I'm hoping that it was the right thing to do and it's gonna lead to good things. Now, I'm expecting that the ones of you who clicked on this video and will be watching it for the next couple of minutes are the ones who have been around with this channel for at least a couple of months, maybe even years, and you are invested in what I do and what I'm kind of throwing into the world through my art of fumbling around and trying to take nice pictures of things and then editing them badly. I think that a lot of you who are watching this would consider themselves my peeps, maybe fans of this channel, and first of all, I super appreciate it, and let me say, if it wasn't for you, I would very likely never make this move. But it has happened. I have left my day job, even though technically I was still self-employed. It was just on paper a large client who paid me a good amount of money for over 10 years. So yeah, I think that to most of you that would read as a day job. And yeah, I don't have that anymore. So that's fun. Anyway, to paint you a little picture, I have spent the last 2 years in the role of an art director for quite a large stock media company. I had a great time doing it, and in many ways it was like the first time within that company that I was actually on a position that kind of made sense to me. That was like a position that I actually wanted to do since, I started working for them, and it took a whole bunch of years until I got to that place. So I guess in a way it's a bit tragic that after, I had a couple of years trying to do what I always wanted to do, I decided to leave. But I think a part of it was that in the past, when I had a less creative job, I think I needed to kind of like make up for that lack of creativity through my projects, my art illustration projects, my merch projects, and of course this channel and the guides that I publish on here. And as everything kind of started working out in terms of being creative, I think it was actually extremely intense for me. So I had this full-time job. I was trying to keep up with the channel, which, kind of started doing pretty well. So it felt just dumb really to not update as often as I could. And a lot of you probably know that I'm also not selling only online through my own platform. I also sell through Scottish Design Exchange and a couple of other outlets around Edinburgh as like a wholesaler. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot of admin, a lot of organizing, and a lot of actual physical work, like just prepping pins for the shops. It does take a lot of time, and it kind of destroys my fingers every time. And suddenly I arrived to this point where it was just, honestly, it was just too much. I think like that's an easy thing for everyone to connect to. I think that all of you have been in that situation where I think many of us imagine moving house, right? Like often we don't really take time off to move house, or like, if the house moving process takes a month, we are not gonna take a month of work, right? So like we have that full-time job, and then we suddenly have like so much organizing and so much cleaning, and there's this actual like physical movement between two places, a lot of like paperwork outside of work, maybe within that you still like have kids and you have to deal with them and take them to school and from school and all of that, and you keep telling yourself like, oh, but it's just this month, and it becomes this very intense month. But because you know that it's gonna end, for some people this might also be like around Christmas, oftentimes in life, there just are times when things get very intense and very kind of layered, and you kind of like run on fumes. And for me, that's kind of what the last 2 years were. And I did eventually realize that this wouldn't be sustainable for me. First, my mental health wasn't quite mental healthing. And also I did notice that it was extremely hard to see any of my friends. My social life was basically non-existent because most of my editing and honestly also shooting was happening on the weekends. So when was I supposed to see people? It was hard. So something needed to change. And because this year has been pretty good, like pretty hopeful on this channel and also in the shops, I thought, okay, I'm gonna do the wild thing, I'm gonna do the dangerous thing, I'm gonna leave the cushy job and I'm gonna see what happens. Okay, now that I gave you a bit of a background of why I'm doing this, I think this is gonna be the most interesting part for you, the peeps. What is my plan with this channel, right? So I think that a lot of the things that I have been doing throughout the last 12 months, a lot of the series that I started, like the neighborhood guides, I would like to keep those going. I know that a lot of you really enjoy them. And at first I thought, like, am I gonna really try and like ramp up the numbers of videos coming out? But I did realize that's not really my style. I think what I first and foremost want to do is I want to make sure that there is a weekly video. I would love to work on having like a backlog, so having maybe some like extra shorter videos edited, so like if anything happens, I do have something to post. The focus will be mostly on Scotland, however, I would love to travel more around England also. Sorry, I feel like I have to be like apologetic for that, but I do think that a lot of England is beautiful. There's such great like folklore and, you know, beautiful countryside, and I just want to, you know, personally I want to explore that, and I think that you will enjoy joining me for that too. But don't worry, the biggest focus is always going to be on Scotland. The videos I make do take quite a lot of time to both shoot and edit and kind of like, you know, polish up to the standard that is important to me. I have always wanted these videos to be pretty, you know, that's I think that is one of my core values, and also I think it's one of my only like actual skills. Again, like I used to be an art director, so I feel like one of my only pieces of expertise that I have when making these videos is that I can try and make them look good. So a lot of my focus and effort, energy goes into that. And I think that's another reason why I can't just suddenly like double the amount of videos, because I truly spend a lot of time like getting the good shots and kind of, you know, fixing them and color grading them and stabilizing them. You know, in my head, I just want you to be able to put these videos on your 4K TV and like not feel weird about that. I want to be a part of that like layer of YouTube that's meant to be watched that way, you know, that's meant to be watched with your dinner rather than like on your phone on the bus, which, you know, nothing against people who do like crank out a lot of content, which might be less art directed. It is honestly often a more viable strategy. And speaking of strategy, I think that this is the moment when I have to ask you for a favor, which is, if you do crank out quite a lot of videos, then you can often rely a lot more on the ad revenue, because, you know, like you have a lot of content out there, it's reaching a lot of people, it shows them a lot of ads, and just like those volumes, that's like amount of eyeballs on your content can support you pretty well. When you want to focus on quality over quantity, then obviously the amazing thing is that you're building a community. But I do find that for a lot of creators who take this route, at some point they do have to ask for some support, which takes me to, I've started a Patreon page. A lot of you have been asking me to do that, and I have. There is finally a Kakibot's Guidebook Patreon page. It's going to be linked in the doobly-doo, or maybe somewhere here. I don't know. It's probably a long link, and it's probably going to be awkward to overlay it. We'll see. What I'd like to do there is to truly connect with the ones of you who do enjoy the work I put into the content, the ones who maybe want to even have some input in what we're gonna do next. And don't worry, you are not just subscribing to my Patreon for nothing. There will be some freebies and goodies. First of all, there will be extra videos at least once a month. And also, for the ones of you who live in countries where because of Etsy, this is Etsy's fault, where I can't send any of my merch, this might open up a new sort of avenue for us to connect and for me to send you stuff. It's also gonna be a good place to maybe talk like little behind the scenes stuff. Maybe down the line we're gonna like test drive a little podcast there. I think it's gonna be fun. For the longest time, I didn't want to start a Patreon because, as mentioned before, it was just a lot on my plate, and I felt like it would be irresponsible to launch a Patreon and then just kind of like sit there and collect the paycheck. Even though I know that a lot of you would probably want to support me anyway. I know that a lot of you just kind of materialize in the comment section under every video and send me a little super thanks, which is very appreciated. And trust me, if you decide to go on Patreon now and support me there, it's really gonna help me like build some self-esteem and squash some of this panic that I am experiencing right now. Okay, so yeah, that's the update. To wrap it up, scary but exciting. I'm hoping you're gonna join me for this ride, because I don't think I can do it without you, so you better. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, thanks.